Good morning, everybody. This is Melissa Kilby here with Girl Up. It is our first virtual panel conversation in the age of COVID-19. So bear with us. This is our first one. Hopefully it'll be smooth and it'll be a great conversation. I'm really excited to be joined by two of my incredible colleagues at Girl Up, Lisa Napper and Maren Roberts. And we're also really excited that two of our incredible Girl Up leaders, coalition leaders, club leaders are here as well, Ayushi and Rajula. So you're going to hear from all of us. But I wanted to start with a little bit of just kind of a high level of what's going on with Girl Up right now. What does our new normal look like with COVID-19? So obviously you can tell we're all working from home, hashtag stay home, right? So we're all trying to figure out how we stay connected to each other. We've done a lot of video conferencing calls in the last couple of weeks, but we've also really been thinking a lot about how do we stay connected to you all. So how can we bring you content? How can we make sure you know where you can find our resources? The work for gender equality has to continue. We're already really learning how COVID-19 and the coronavirus response is impacting girls and women differently, as pretty much everything does. So our work continues. We know a lot of you are also at home, trying to figure out distance learning, how to run your clubs when you can't be together in person. So we're really excited for this first conversation to see, if we can share some resources with you, give you some ideas, hear from some Girl Up leaders that have already been doing it. So we're excited about the conversation. I wanted to let you know too, none of our work is stopping. We're just rethinking it. We're kind of figuring out how we can take our conversations online. Obviously, this conversation is a great example of that. We're going to have a great series of these conversations talking about all kinds of topics over the next few weeks and months. We're thinking about our big events. How do we take those virtually? Are there things that we need to postpone? So we're working really closely with the whole team, our girls, our partners, and trying to figure out what really does all of this look like. So the other thing we really wanted to share with you is that we're here. So via our social media accounts, obviously on the community, I hope, in this conversation and the conversations to come, you all can get your voices into the conversation. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know what else you want to hear from us. Obviously, this conversation today is kind of just a kickoff to get us started, to kind of rethink our work and share some tips and advice. But what are other things you'd like to hear from us? We are going to do a little bit of Q&A with this group at the end of our conversation. So keep your questions in mind, and we'll let you know when it's time to share those and when we can take some questions from the group. So really to kick us off, I want you to hear from the experts, which is two of our program team members who are really the ones working day to day with our club leaders and building all of these great resources and also shifting all of these resources to make sure that you all can activate with them. So Lisa Napper is our program associate and Maren Roberts is our program coordinator. I'm going to send it to Lisa first. I'm hoping you can kind of share the latest and greatest of like where girls can look, what kind of cool stuff is coming, and then also I'm hoping you can have a conversation with our Girl Up leaders about what they've already seen to be successful.
Yeah, so I am very excited about this new territory for Girl Up. I think it's a scary time, but it's a time for our girl leaders and leaders everywhere to rise to the occasion and to really take the lead in their community and just charting a new territory in the online virtual connection space. Our March Club Challenge was the storytelling challenge, and the most exciting thing about that is the challenge is designed to highlight women in the community that you admire. So we want you all to go and interview lawyers and city officials and mayors and women, mothers, librarians, people that you look up to in your community. And it's a perfect fit because this would be a wonderful time to maybe call a doctor or a nurse or someone you know who is on the front lines of this pandemic and ask them how they're feeling, ask them any questions that you may have about COVID-19 and ask them if, and make sure that they feel supported and celebrated and highlight them on your club page and on your Instagrams, because that's important that we're lifting up the women who are on the front lines of this issue. So that is a very exciting challenge that we have going on right now that you all can get involved in. And the best part is that you can celebrate the women that are making an impact on this issue, those doctors and nurses and teachers. And then we have our Global 5K coming up. That'll be the April and May challenge, and more to come on that. But we are going virtual for that. And, you know, it's really important to get outside your house. So that just gives you all the more reason to get those minutes in outside on your daily walks. So very exciting on that. I'm going to throw it over to Ayushi and Rajula. Ayushi is our wonderful coalition leader from Atlanta, and Rajula is from Seattle, and they both have been incredible leaders this year and definitely rising to the occasion as things have changed. So do you want to share a little bit about, Ayushi, I'll let you go first. Do you want to share a little bit about what you've been doing in Atlanta and your community and some of your thoughts and how you can stay connected to your clubs?
So as said, even with this new normal, there's so much that we can do, especially when it comes to inspiring, encouraging other women in the community. So similar to what Ms. Lisa said, our club was planning on having some interview and panel discussions with doctors and nurses in our community to lift up their spirits and encourage them during this time, because they are the people on the front lines. And this does tie in with our March Storytelling Challenge, which I thought was cool, because even virtually we can continue this like progress to gender equality. And another thing that I've noticed is that I've personally been involved in at least 3 social media trends. So with that, our community, since we have several clubs within our county that are Girl Up clubs, we're planning on having a virtual Girl Up social media trend going on possibly. So this could be just to empower other girls, encourage them during this time through social media and tag them. So these are some of the ideas we've been working on, but if you guys have any questions or would like to reach out to me with anything, I'd love to help you all with anything. So feel free to reach out to me on Girl Up Community.
Yeah, and Ayushi was in the community checking in on everyone. She sent a very nice message asking the Girl Up community how they were doing. And I think that is the most important question right now is how is everyone doing? So kudos to Ayushi, and you can definitely connect with her on the community. Rajula, I'll let you, you share a little bit. I know that your regional summit, your Unite the Coalition event was postponed, but you have thoughts on taking it virtual. So do you want to share anything on that?
Yeah, so our summit was initially scheduled for early March, but the Seattle community was hit pretty hard with the virus. So we're hoping to perhaps take it virtual. We were planning on inviting our panelists, our original panelists along and engage in some of the activities virtually. One of the activities that we were planning to do was build like little hygiene kits for homeless shelters. As this might be a little bit difficult to do virtually, we're hoping to collect donations instead through an online platform and hoping to raise funds because the homeless community in Seattle has been hit pretty hard as well because of the virus. A lot of people don't have a place, don't have a shelter currently amidst the virus, and it's a really detrimental issue in the area. So we're hoping as a Girl Up community to address that through donations and spreading awareness. So that's kind of what we've been working on. We've been working on our planning our summit right now.
Awesome. Well, that is all amazing. And Girl Up is here to support you in those community service efforts. And I really, truly applaud you for thinking of how you can support your community in this time. So major kudos to both of you for your leadership, which is so important at a time like this. And I know it's not easy. So cheers to you and to all the club leaders that are out there who are thinking of ways that they can best support their communities. One thing that I did want to say is I also think it's important that we're taking time for self-care and for thinking of how we can still have fun in times like this. And so one of the cool things that I think that clubs could do is do a Netflix share where you watch the same Netflix movie at the same time. There's some really great feminist movies. There's a feminist documentary on Netflix right now called Feminist, What Were They Thinking? And it's basically the feminist movement. It tracks the feminist movement in the United States, how it started. And it's just a great resource for you all to learn more about feminism. And you all can use the storytelling resources to really think critically about how they told the story of feminism and how you can tell your own stories in your community and as you witness history unfold right now. So I'm going to
Lisa, can we do one of those for the Girl Up team? That would be super fun. I feel like we might need a Friday afternoon like Netflix party one of these weeks.
That would be very fun. I'm into it.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you both, Ayushi and Rajula. We're going to come back to you, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, Marin, can you talk a little bit about just some of the specific resources in our STEM for Social Good programming that are available to girls, where to find them, what they can be doing sort of virtually and individually?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Marin Roberts. I'm a program coordinator here at Girl Up headquarters in Washington, D.C. I'm not at our office right now, as you all know. I'm in the kitchen, but I'm very happy to be connecting to you one way or another. I'm going to give you a brief rundown on things that are all things STEM, so science, tech, engineering, and math. Though we are sad that we can't host our in-person STEM for Social Good boot camps this spring, there are still some fun ways that you can get engaged with our STEM activities, from the safety and security of your own home. And I will add that you can do it in your PJs, which I'm enjoying the added time in my comfy clothing. And I know Lisa has like a brand new all pink jumpsuit that she's really excited about. And she even disclosed to me personally that she has it in 2 other colors for 3 days of the week. I aspire to be on her level.
The paints on Amazon, they're like $8. Highly recommend.
I need to place an order. Okay, all things STEM. So we have our upcoming 2020 YSI camps. Our applications are still open. Those will close this upcoming Tuesday, March 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our YSI camps are women in science camps. They're all expenses paid, so including flights, lodging, food, 2-week residential science STEM camps. Even though COVID has affected the regions where we live and work, it hasn't affected our resolve to keep advancing gender equality around the world, including STEM. We're paying attention to everything that's going on in the world. The safety of our communities are at the forefront of our agenda. So we are still planning to have it, but our plans might change as the situation develops. So in the meantime, we do encourage you to keep applying and to consider attending a YSI camp. I'm going to drop the link to applications in our chat, but you can also visit www.girlup.org/YSI, and there you can find information on where to apply to be a camper, as well as a counselor, and our list of participating countries. Again, our applications close on Tuesday, so I would love to see your application. You can do a video essay application. You don't have to write anything, which I think is a really fun way to go about applying for something. So again, I will drop that link in our chat. Another way to get involved with STEM is to start thinking about applying for a STEM for Social Good grant. These are awarded in increments up to $500 in US standard dollars and are used to demonstrate your leadership skills by designing a STEM-focused solution to an issue in your community. This could be like designing a garden, like a community garden, or convincing your entire school to replace their light bulbs with LED light bulbs. We've seen some apps get developed. So really the world is your oyster as long as you're addressing an issue using STEM. So our 2020 grants application is going to open very soon. I'm also going to drop that link as soon as I stop talking, but there's going to be a Google form where you can fill in your name to receive immediate notification of when our grants application portal reopens in the next month. You can also check www.girlup.org/STEM. Okay, our next resource that you can hop onto and access from the comfort of your own home is our STEM for Social Good toolkit. You can download this. This has 10 activities, STEM focused. We also have a few demo videos that some Grow Up staff members have put together that kind of demonstrate and show how to do these activities if you need some more hands-on visual instruction. So again, that's located on our website. You can download it, and there's also some other fun STEM for Social Good videos that you can connect and learn more about STEM for Social Good. Lastly, we are very excited, and I am very excited to be releasing a STEM for Social Good, a new activity kit in April that will have some fun, innovative ways to stay involved with our STEM programming. These will include activities such as like how to make your own soap, my recommendation and Girl Up recommendations for the top science museums to visit online virtually. You can enter our chain reaction contest. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen one of those videos where someone drops like a golf ball and then it knocks a bunch of dominoes and then it, you know, pushes a water jug and you know, ultimately it goes throughout someone's house. So we're gonna have a contest for girls around the world to enter that. And so pay attention to upcoming STEM activities in April. And that will lead up, last thing, is to our STEM for Social Good, our STEM week, full steam ahead in May, where we'll have a week full of virtual activities that you can get involved in, as well as a bunch of panels featuring women in STEM. So STEMinists, key STEMinists. Thanks for tuning into STEM resources. And if you have any questions, want to say hey, or want to apply for YSI, just email ysci@girlup.org or visit us online.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Maren. And I will say too, if dates end up moving or our YSI camps shift due to COVID-19, applications, we will still be considering the ones that applied this month. If we move through to interviews and selections, then those selections will actually transfer with dates. So just a point of clarification on that. If you're interested in applying, please hit that deadline because this will be the applicants pool that we'll look at and consider regardless of if we're able to keep the dates exactly as planned or if they shift. So definitely next Tuesday is the date. So I wanted to really just thank Ayushi and Rajula for coming on and sharing what they're doing. I know, Rajula, you've been in the middle of the COVID-19 for a little bit longer than the rest of us, as I know it kind of started really going off in Seattle and the Washington area before it hit the rest of us. And I know you all have had to be really creative. I'm curious, I'd just love to ask you all a quick question and then we can kind of wrap this section and go to the broader Q&A from our attendees. So if you're out there listening, think of your questions. I know we've got one ready to go, but if you have others, chat them to us in the Q&A box on the bottom of your screen. Ayushi and Rajula, either one of you can start. What's something that you're really looking forward to being able to do this spring with your club, knowing that you have maybe a little bit more flexibility or there's some things that you can ask your coalitions or your clubs to be doing kind of individually? Do you guys have anything that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, so I know Rocio sent out a petition for girls to sign, and because it's through an online platform, it's an amazing opportunity to advocate and continue our activism. So I've definitely been sending that out. We've been working on advocating for that. In addition, we've also been just looking for ways to continue our fundraising as well. We've been mass emailing people. So yeah, so I guess those are our 2 things to look forward to.
Awesome.
I've been thinking about this idea for a while, but I guess with extra time now, I was hoping to do some sort of summer girls coding camp as part of the STEM for Social Good. So I think during the spring, that'd be a good time to have the promotion and release out that information and put together the resources. And I think the idea that I was hoping behind this would be able to develop an app that helps the community and reaching out to like the middle school girls, because they basically can see and get an experience about coding before they get into high school and see if they're interested in the STEM fields. So it's something I'm looking towards for sure.
Great. Rajula, we have a question from the Q&A that's actually related to one of the things that you talked about. So I'll go ahead and go to that right now, and then we'll open it up for the broader Q&A. But Georgia Evans is asking, for collecting donations, are you having people send them directly to a shelter, or are you collecting them and then kind of making a donation? How are you actually making that work?
Yeah, so we're in the process of getting like an online platform, like where they can donate online, and it goes directly to the shelter itself. So
Great.
yeah, so yeah.
Okay, so in progress, maybe you can let us know and we can share on our social media how you guys are doing that, and we'll do that follow up. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and go to the Q&A. We have a few questions in the queue, and then we'll kind of see what comes out of that. Lisa, here's a question for you. Are there ways for Girl Up clubs to connect with clubs around the world? Can they actually host virtual meetings, and is this an opportunity to make some cross-border connections?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think that is definitely the benefit of being virtual is there's no limits to connections, and you can host a Zoom meeting with maybe a coalition or a club in another state or another country, another region, and you can coordinate that via the community. So if you're looking to maybe do a pen pal type thing where you want to have a pen pal in a different country or state, then you can connect on the community and then organize a virtual meeting and go from there. So, and you can use the club resources. So maybe you can, instead of just doing a Netflix party with just your club, maybe you can watch the movie with someone across the world and use the storytelling curriculum question guides to answer questions and to connect and discuss the movie together. And we would love to hear about that. So if you all do that, don't forget to submit your activity report.
Tell us so we can know what you're doing, please. Okay, so we have a question about our leadership summit for this upcoming July, and wanting to know if the summit is going to be held. So I'll take that question. So as of right now, we are assessing really all of the options for how we can still have our global conversation this July. So whether that's in person here in DC, if we shift to a virtual summit that may actually allow for a lot more participation from around the world, obviously wouldn't be limited by being there in person. We're really thinking through all of it right now. So I would imagine we'll have a plan and a decision and a bit of an announcement kind of one way or another in the next couple of weeks. We want to make sure that whichever format we do our summit in, we have a lot of time to plan for it. So the short answer is yes, there will be a summit. And the long answer is we're looking into a bunch of different platforms and options in case we do decide to move that to a virtual. If we do and you've already registered, we'll follow up with you. So lots more to come, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more detail in the coming weeks. So definitely stay tuned. Another club question. So Lisa, maybe you can hit this one as well. Do you have to be a club to participate in the club challenges? Which is a great question.
No, that is a great question. The resources are open to everyone. So we encourage you, you can register on the community as a community leader and decide if you want to start a club. We would love for you to start a club, but if it's just you right now, you can register as a community leader and tell your friends about it. And hopefully when you get 5 friends excited about Girl Up, you can start a club, but you can get started on those challenges anytime as a community leader on the community.
Great. So you really just have to register in the community to access it, correct?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is a question for Ayushi and Rajula. For each of you, what do you think are the biggest issues facing girls in your city? Maybe we can kind of keep it super, super local. Rajula, do you want to start?
Yeah, so an issue that I'm really passionate about is eradicating homelessness, and it's really prevalent in the Seattle area. When you just drive around, you see like a bunch of tents on under the freeway and stuff. So it's definitely hitting women really hard, and especially in regards to lack of feminine hygiene products, shelter, of course, from any dangers, and especially women with children in the area. So that's definitely an issue that really hits hard at Seattle. And I believe there's a lot of work that local governments can do to protect women, especially at this time as well, where it's a vulnerable time, and everyone should definitely have access to some sort of shelter amidst this crisis. So yeah, I think that's a really important issue in the area.
So since I live more on the suburb side, the main issue that I've seen in my community is not a lot of girls that I know are as involved with the computer science and coding field, because I heard from my advisor that 2 years back we had only one girl in our engineering and computer science class, and like there were 20 other boys. It was like 1 to 20, and my current class only has 6 girls out of 18 boys. So part of me really wants to, maybe it's because they haven't started introducing themselves to coding during middle school, because I didn't get to either until I got into 9th grade. So part of me really wants to help in that field, encouraging them to try out coding and computer science. But when I go into Atlanta, I've been working with another organization that deals with like sex trafficking, because more in Atlanta, that's where you see it, because it's just a city area. So part of what that organization is seeking is to provide food to like shelters, because most of the time when they don't have food, they end up being on the streets, and that leads to sex trafficking in some cases. So that's definitely something to work on in Atlanta.
Great. Those are really all, I think, very important things that you all are tackling. And I love that you can do that as part of your Girl Up work, because we know that so many of these issues disproportionately affect girls and women and are just tied straight up into gender equality. So it's a really good example of how we can all be tackling things really with that gender lens, but having it be part of all of our global impact for Girl Up. Maren, I'm going to come to you. We have a specific question around the STEM activities. And the question asker wants to know, do you need a lot of materials? Can you give people a little bit more sense of, are there activities that you can do with sort of what you can find around your house or don't need much materials? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you take a look at the STEM for Social Good Toolkit located online on our website, I would say about 6 out of 10 of those activities, you don't need special materials. They'll just be pens, pencils, things you can find around the house, such as a ruler. There's a biorecycling activity that just requires cardboard. So the majority of the activities are doable with just common household materials. And I will also add that the ones that we'll be releasing in April next month will be totally accessible for everyone around the world. So no special materials needed in terms of what you might be able to access in your house or outside of your house.
Great, thank you. Lisa, we have a question here about a person asking if they can help write blogs for Girl Up. Who should they contact if they're interested in exploring a topic or maybe submitting some girl generated content?
Yeah, so there's 2 options. You can share your story on the community. There's a tab to share your story, and that shares it on the community. And the other option is you can send it to our comms team. So if you go to our website and you find our wonderful comms associate, and you can click on her name, Naomi, and her email will come up and you can share with her, and she will work with you to edit it and to make sure that it is exactly what you want to say and get it up on our website. We would love to hear your stories, and definitely with the storytelling challenge and with times like this, we want to hear from you. So definitely reach out and share your story on the community, or go on the website and get Naomi's email and email her directly.
Yeah. I'll add in that we really welcome and encourage creativity here. So anything that you might want to write a blog post about, really creativity. So you could write about how COVID is affecting you personally, how it's affecting your community. You could write about ways that you're practicing self-care. You can write about ways that you're staying healthy, such as like yoga in your house, or you can write about things that your club was doing earlier this year, or future plans for your clubs that might inspire others. So really the door is open.
Great. Thanks, Lisa and Marin. Okay, so back to you, Rajula and Ayushi. What's your favorite thing about being in a Girl Up club? Ayushi, maybe you want to kick this one off?
Sure. I first joined, I absolutely loved getting to meet these amazing girls and leaders across the world. I was introduced actually someone from California, even though I live in Georgia, because she was my friend from before when I used to live there. And when I first got in, I was able to meet so many girls across Georgia through the coalition. And it got me just excited to see how passionate that they were about this, and got me to have this passion. I think my favorite part is definitely hearing from these amazing stories from across the globe and getting to meet these people too.
Awesome. Rajula, what about you? What's your favorite part of being in the club community and your coalition?
I think my favorite part is the fact that we get to really unite our community in addressing an issue that really affects us all. And I've really seen the effects when I first started my club during my freshman year. Not a lot of people really have these conversations about what it means to have like a gender equal world, what that entails, how can we achieve it. And now we've been sparking those conversations, and in my school community, we've been holding a lot of events, and we've really been getting people to start talking about this stuff. And I think that's my favorite part about it. Just the fact that we're able to bring together so many people to talk about something that we can all work towards, and we definitely need to work towards.
Awesome. Well, I love both of those answers. That makes me super proud to be a part of the Girl Up community. We have another question that came through a little bit ago, asking if Girl Up will host other virtual events besides panels. So I'll take this one on, and then Lisa and Marin, if you want to add anything. We are rolling out a panel series, so we're hoping to kind of come to you with these conversations every week, a new topic, new participants, kind of leaning into different issue areas, different topics. If there are things that you want to hear from us about, please reach out. You can send notes to info@girlup.org, or you can also DM us on social media and just kind of send your ideas, send your asks, send your issue areas, conversations you'd like. In addition to these panels, which are a little bit more watching, right, and hearing from the folks who are panelists, we're also looking at rolling out some more interactive webinars. So taking some of our activities and some of the resources that Lisa and Marin have already talked about, and thinking about how we can build those into interactive virtual sessions. So you can have more back and forth with the Girl Up staff or other Girl Up girl leaders. So stay tuned for that. Again, we're also exploring how we can host other virtual summit size events and larger conversations. If there's a specific event that you would be interested in, definitely let us know that too. We'd love to see those ideas. Again, info@girlup.org, or just send it to us directly via our social media channels. We are open to pretty much anything right now. We're really in the creative brainstorming. Right now we're watching what you all are doing. We're looking to our clubs to see what they're doing with their groups. And we're really just trying to collect ideas. So if there's something that you think would be really fun, that you think that you and your club would love to be involved in, like, give us those ideas, because we're exploring everything right now. Lisa, I'm going to come to you with another question. This person wants to know, how can I practice self-care at home when I don't have a lot of resources at home? Any websites or cheap things that you recommend? And I know Lisa is all about, that is why I'm coming to you with this one. I know you're going to have some great advice.
Yeah, well, great question. One of my favorite resources is YouTube. You can find not only, sometimes it's good to get out of your head and just, my favorite thing to do is just learn about something new that's not related to anything that I'm dealing with or thinking about. So you can go to YouTube and you can Google hair tutorials, you can watch makeup tutorials, and just those things that really get you connected to something that's different than what's going on in your world. But then also on YouTube, there's really great resources. You can look up yoga. We did a yoga class with Marin, who led it a few days ago, our team. But there's so many resources online to do yoga classes. There's yoga classes that are specifically for relieving stress and anxiety. So not about working out, but really about breathing and moving your body and getting those juices flowing. But then there's also, you can listen to meditation music on YouTube. There's all these amazing resources on YouTube. So if you have access to YouTube, definitely use that. Another thing you can do is journal. So just grab a pen and a pen and paper and write your thoughts. Maybe write an observation that you see. Maybe look out your window and say, and observe your community. Maybe you see people walking by, or maybe there's no people walking by. What does that feel like? Just write and observe your thoughts. And I can tell you that when this is all over, you'll want to know what you were thinking and what you were feeling. And since it's such a historic moment, it's important to record your experience now. So those are some ways to really ground yourself and get out of your head and, look around.
Yeah. Marin, I'm going to come to you for the next question. We actually have a couple different questions around this, kind of all around the same question of internet connectivity. Obviously, we're having a Zoom conversation right now, which requires a bit of internet strength and bandwidth. What are some other ways that you can advise Girl Up clubs to connect to each other and to other clubs, or to reach out to other club members if they don't have like the same internet accessibility? Are there other things that we can do in this sort of virtual time to stay connected to each other?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things that comes to mind for me is picking a book that you can all read, and then really looking forward to how you can connect when we're all able to be back in person over a shared story. So that could be, about feminism. It could be about where you live. It could really be on any subject, just something that resonates with all of your club members. So that's one way to stay involved with others and with those in your club. Another way is to have like a live Google Doc. So even if you aren't able to have this like face-to-face video internet capability, sometimes a Google chat or a chat on community can really help out just with, staying in contact and staying able to talk to each other. Another idea is to have a brainstorm. Maybe that could be in a series of emails or just writing it down at your own home, and looking forward to when we come back together, but a brainstorm on activities that you really want to start planning out for your Girl Up Club for the fall or for the summer. So those are, I think, 3 ways that first come to mind for me.
Great. And I know so many of those conversations can happen via text or via group text or group WhatsApp. So I think, obviously video is great. It's awesome to see each other's faces, but that is not the only way to communicate. So I think just using what you have, but making sure you're trying to connect as much as you can. You can also write old-fashioned letters. Like the postal system seems to be going. I get my mail every day. So, via the community, if someone has a stronger internet connection and wants to reach out to another club and sort of exchange mailing addresses amongst the club members, you could do kind of letters back and forth. And that also really gets to Lisa's idea of journaling. If you're documenting your experience, but doing that in letters back and forth, we can go way old school and and go to the post office. So we are at time, which is amazing. I wanted to just ask each of you to kind of very quickly just share what is your top piece of advice for how you are each focused on continuing to move the gender equality work that we're all committed, kind of in really quick, 30 seconds, what's your piece of advice for keeping our work going? And Ayushi, I'll come to you first.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing is just keeping that faith, that passion, knowing that something put together, we'll get through this together, and checking in on your girl members, making sure that they're fine, they're doing well, helping them out, letting them know that we are here for them too.
Great. Great. Marin, what's your piece of advice?
My piece of advice is remembering that a lot of social change and a lot of movements have been birthed and born from starting online. So really reminding yourself that grassroots movements can still push the agenda forward online, and coming back to that mentality of connection through virtual. That's been helping me stay motivated, just coming back to knowing that a lot of these movements, such as the Women's March, have really started from a group of people online connecting. So
Great. Lisa?
Yeah, so my biggest piece of advice is to stay local and really look around at the women in your community and maybe in your house and think about how you can best support and show up for your friends and your family members and those in your community.
And Rajula, we'll end with your last piece of wisdom.
I guess just on everyone's note, continuing to stay positive and motivated, because I think Girl Up offers so many amazing resources, and just capitalizing on that, I think it's important to really utilize that, and like Lisa said, aiding their local community is extremely important, so we can have that that touch, so we can have our impact in our little world, in our community. So yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Just a reminder, you can find all of the resources that we talked about today on the Girl Up website, in the Girl Up community. You can reach our team with ideas, questions, suggestions. I know we didn't get to all of the questions in the Q&A box, so we'll hit you up with a response. But keep the questions, ideas, suggestions coming. Again, like we said, we're going to keep this conversation going. So if there's things you want to hear from us about, please let us know. Follow us on social media, and we'll keep you posted on what our latest kind of actions are as a Girl Up Global community. And as I like to wrap up most of my things right now, stay home. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Don't hesitate to reach out.